press statement of Kim Yo Jong, Vice Department Director of the Central Committee, Workers' Party of Korea. 4 June, 2023, Pyongyang. Kim Yo Jong, Vice Department Director of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, issued the following press statement on Saturday. The UNSC held a meeting to take up the DPRK's right to satellite launching as a single agenda item at the US gangster-like request. As a result, it produced another shameful record of working as a political appendage of an individual country. The UNSC have held more than 9,000 official meetings since its establishment, but this time it called a meeting to take issue with a sovereign state's right to space development quite different from aggression and war. Major threats to the international peace and security. This should be regarded as an insult to and serious distortion of the spirit of the UN Charter and as a deliberate delinquency in the genuine mission of the organization. It is today's universal reality that over 5,000 satellites with various aims and missions are now in their orbits around the Earth, and even private companies are taking an active part in the space development. This being a hard reality, the UNSC is continuously taking discriminative and rude action to take issue with only the launch of a satellite by the DPRK, a full-fledged member of the UN. I am very unpleased that the UNSC so often calls to account the DPRK's exercise of its rights as a sovereign state at the request of the US, and bitterly condemn and reject it as the most unfair and biased act of interfering in its internal affairs and violating its sovereignty. To make the UNSC take up the DPRK's exercise of its legal rights as a sovereign state precisely means the undisguised disregard for and violation of the DPRK's sovereignty. Without considering the changed security situation of the Korean peninsula, the UNSC is trying to unilaterally deprive the DPRK of its sovereignty and rights to existence and development, blindly following the articles of the illegal and unfair anti-DPRK sanctions resolutions cooked up 10-odd years ago. This is a very dangerous act as it can cause serious imbalance of power in the region and the structural damage of the peace and stability. If the UNSC thinks the unbalanced situation, in which one side suffers only and the other side bullies it collectively, will continue prevailing, the UNSC is just mistaken. If the UNSC persists in its unfair and prejudiced anti-DPRK action, it should give a responsible answer to whether it is capable of defusing the ensuing serious instability of the situation and guaranteeing the security of the regional countries. Some countries joining the US racket of denouncing the DPRK are unconditionally dancing to the tune of the US without any ground. Their acts are a sight to see. As for those countries, they have neither reason nor ground to stand up against the DPRK in the light of their security interests, and there is no need for them to be concerned about the military reconnaissance satellite of the DPRK. If those countries think that it is beneficial to them to be at the US beck and call, I'd like to remind them that there is a way of exalting their national prestige and guaranteeing their security without standing on the US side, and there exist not a few independent countries applying the way. I'd like to make it clear once again that the launch of a military reconnaissance satellite by the DPRK is a legal countermeasure to cope with the US and its vassal forces' military threats that have already crossed the red line, and an exercise of the right to self-defense aimed at safeguarding the sovereignty and territorial integrity. More than 6,100 days have passed since the first anti-DPRK sanctions resolution, a product of the hostile policy of the US and its vassal forces towards the DPRK, was fabricated 17 years ago. During this period, the DPRK has never recognized the illegal sanctions resolutions against it, and it will remain unchanged in such stand, no matter that such sanctions resolutions continue to be cooked up. Regardless of the instinctive reflex action of the UNSC against the DPRK's exercise of its sovereign right, the DPRK will continue to take proactive measures to exercise all the lawful rights of a sovereign state, including the one to military reconnaissance satellite launch. Peace and security in the Korean peninsula is guaranteed by the powerful self-defense capability of the DPRK, not by the resolution invented by the political tool of the US. The DPRK will consistently make strong responses and do what it should do non-stop until the US and its vassal forces feel bored and admit that they made a wrong choice.